The Batiste family lived beside the Bayou in a town named after an enslaved woman who gained her freedom settling there. Eve, the youngest daughter of the Batiste family, witnesses her father having an affair, disturbed to her core, disrupting her view of her family, challenged in how to process what she witnessed, after her older sister Cicely suggests she misunderstood what she saw. As the months roll on, the family encounters great fear, doubt, and loss that will change how young Eve and Cicely view the world around them. This is Casey Lemmons' Eve's Bayou, an exquisite film that examines the nature of memories, their unreliability, their texture, and how they can shift remembered events depending on the perspective of the witness. Additionally, the film explores sexual dynamics between monogamy and polyamory, the expectations and pressures of both, while also testing the form of cinematic convention, broadening into non-linearity and doubt. Eve's Bayou presents an intersection of universal ideas, from the distinctive perspective of a black woman filmmaker, incorporating elements of black American heritage and experiences facing misogyny, which informs the film's central focus on memory, perspective, and having those doubted, either by oneself or by others in disbelief. Cara Keeling elaborates on this eloquently in her article for Criterion, stating that, while the themes explored in Eve's Bayou may be widely relatable, the story it tells is particularly African American. The film draws on the history of chattel slavery in Louisiana, and Eve's memories are contextualized within the experiences of descendants of enslaved people in the middle of the 20th century. Her narrating presence as an adult, though unseen, also tethers the film to the moment of its making. The experiences of marginalization, of othering, and of a black woman's recollections over childhood inform the film's distinct voice. We can all relate to themes of memory and doubt, but Eve's Bayou's Creole identity, hoodoo spirituality, and the voices of black women is what cements the film into elegant authenticity. The experiences, abilities, and memories of black women are the focus of Eve's Bayou. Through non-linearity, flashbacks, monologues which blur the present with the past, and varying recollections of the same event, Casey Lemmons explores the perspectives of black women so often unheard and underrepresented. A central plot detail the film hinges on is the Batiste family's caution after Moselle, Lewis's sister and Eve's aunt, has a vision that somebody dies in an accident, possibly someone from the family. As the children are refused to leave the home out of fear of their own safety, Lewis makes a remark about Moselle's clairvoyant abilities, suggesting hoodoo is just something he allows Moselle to occupy herself with to keep her out of hospital. Cara Keeling, in her essay, highlights that Casey Lemmons is specifically focusing on the patriarchy inherent in undermining women's, especially black women's, experiences, such as in this scene. It became clear to me that Lemmons was advancing a critique of the patriarchal order by valorizing the experiences, the ways of knowing, the desires of black women and girls, and that she was doing so without creating any villains. Her narrative poses questions that still resonate today about gender and gender roles, bourgeois family norms, sexuality, sexual violence and memory, and its form offers responses to those questions. While Lewis's patronising remark is a demonstration of a patriarchal order, how men will often undermine, undervalue and delegitimise the concerns and experiences of women, the film's focus on such understanding, knowledge and desires of black women places great power and compassion within their experiences and gender roles. When we watch the scene of Moselle telling Eve of her past loves, caught in a triangle between her husband and her lover, recollecting the events as if watching them in the mirror, the film places significant empathy on Moselle's experience, something which ends in tragedy, but never ever belittles the way in which she experienced sexuality and love. The film delivers grace and understanding towards women whose love cannot be contained by tradition or by monogamy, in the same way it expresses grace towards women who prefer the vice versa, as Roz is often portrayed as confident, strong, and yet also open in her vulnerability, her need to be loved but uncertain how to reinforce a marriage with a man who seeks intimacy elsewhere, a more traditional gender role never belittled. The experiences of black women and girls, and the way they are processed, are essential to Eve's Bayou. This includes how perspectives differ, never making judgment. Roz is frustrated by Lewis's infidelities due to the impact it takes on her marriage, the family adapting to his long absences, and her own needs not being met. Yet Mazel suggests Lewis is like her, someone who loves too much and cannot be contained. An early scene, shot in black and white, a distant flashback, encapsulates the shift of perspective and how it's processed brilliantly. Lewis is having an affair, and the eye of Eve witnesses it. Kara Keeling examines this scene eloquently, stating that, here, in the earliest moments of her first feature, Lemmons is already alerting us to the difference between what is visible and audible, and what is recognisable. We cannot recognise all the images and sounds presented at the beginning of the film. We cannot place them in time or space. But it is soon revealed that the eyes and the iris belong to the film's protagonist, Eve, named for her forebear and narrating as an adult, though she was a 10-year-old girl when these images were recorded into her memory and could not properly make sense of them then. This scene is presented semi-abstract, hazily, as a representation of Eve's memory. The impression of the memory is strong, yet the details and texture difficult to recall, making it somewhat unreliable. Recollected by Eve as an adult, as a narrator, yet witnessed as a child, Eve might not have understood what she saw at that age. She may have repressed specific details, or may have gradually forgotten as time went on. Kara Keeling highlights that this scene alerts us to the difference between what is visible, what is audible, and what is recognisable. We are able to witness something, but possibly not able to process it. While Cicely later admits to believing in Eve in what she saw, this initial doubt early on reminds us that what we saw isn't always what we recognise. This coalesces into the significant impact of the film's later turning point. After awaiting Lewis's return home, and the argument between her parents keeping her awake, unable to sleep, Cicely comforts her father. What follows diverges into two differing accounts. Cicely alleges her father forcefully embraced her intimately, and when she refused his advances, he hit her. Lewis alleged that he would never hurt his daughter, and that Cicely had initiated the inappropriate intimacy. Casey Lemmons sows the unreliability for both carefully, by portraying Cicely and Lewis's bond throughout the film as tight, implying flirtation, sometimes something more. We never get any closure on how this event unfolded, but we don't necessarily need it. Eve's Bayou suggests that things can become unreliable if we're unable to process what we experience clearly, that memories can often become hazy and difficult to determine, but that also the experiences of black girls and women deserve to be heard, to be treated with the same respect a patriarchal society would typically treat a man. There are multiple significant factors to recognise here, and there is no solution, no answer. Eve believes Cicely, and in their final scene we witness the understanding that is necessary, that black girls and women should be able to share their experiences without pressure of chastisement or belittlement. In conclusion, Casey Lemmons' Eve's Bayou is an excellent, nuanced Southern Gothic classic dissecting universal themes of memory, love, patriarchy, while demonstrating the relation these themes have with authentic black experiences. A captivating period drama with rich, complicated characterization, avoiding simplification and judgment. This film wants us to recognise that things might not always seem as they appear. A gripping tale that steers through non-linearity and unreliability with elegance. This is a classic you shouldn't miss. A special thank you to my incredible tier Patreon supporters Gail, Jared Spears of Concessions, Javier Grillo Maxwatch, and Keith Gaylor, and my super tier Patreon supporters Sportzilla and Eclair.